Is there anything specific we can point out about North America as a region for why they can't keep up with the other three? I know that the standard ones are the
How long do you
server
want the
ping.
podcast to be?
You're fine?
Look at him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Welcome to episode 4 of the pOGcast, the greatest podcast name of all time. Today, as you can see, we have the regular guests of pOGcast over there, Andre, head coach of Origen as well. And then our new guest today is Nuke or Alan Holm, depending on, I guess we say Alan more at this point than Nuke, because I feel like Nuke is kind of, no offense.
Yeah, but
it's not the coolest name anymore when you're like above 20. Yeah. So it feels kind of weird to keep calling you Nuke Duck. Yeah. I'm actually not sure where the name even came from.
I mean, it's just like really old, you know, like 12 years old playing something.
And you were like Nuke, and you like ducks?
No, I mean, I didn't like ducks particularly, but it was like, it's just like, it sounds good, you know?
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah.
What a mistake.
Yeah. See, that's the problem in competitive esport. You have to find, I guess, a name, and then you have to stick to that name for a long time.
What about Patrick?
Yeah, but see, okay, fair. You can't change your name, obviously, but at this point, if you change your name, it's just kind of weird. You know, like you're 6 years into your career, you can't really do it now. pOGcast, I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean or where that comes from, but
yeah, that comes from my youth. It was like it means like little or smaller. I don't know how. Yeah, little. And my friends used to call me Peke because I was the youngest one.
Oh,
so that's like the
and then just put an X.
And then I just put an X
because it sounds cool.
No, because he was taken.
It's actually a great reason. What's the reason for your lack of a summoner name, Andre?
Because I don't give a crap. It's like I just put my name.
Well, what's your name then in games?
Exactly that one.
You literally put Andre?
No, I put Giotto. Yeah.
That's it? Oh, okay, okay. So you use your last name.
My last name is my name in game. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Lack of imagination.
Today, it is Monday. Groups are done at Worlds. Every single group has finished now. Some regions are extremely happy. Some regions are extremely sad. We will obviously be kind of wrapping up all the groups. Then we will talk about North America in general, Europe, like which regions did well. We have some mini awards of like who did the best in the groups, can be both teams and can be players, and who did the worst. And then of course we have a lot of really cool Twitter questions regarding a lot of things that happen at Worlds and so on. We sadly will not have time to talk about predictions at all. We will save that for much later because it's not really relevant anymore to discuss the group stage predictions, and we might reset the whole thing for playoffs.
Yeah, of
anyway.
course.
Right?
It would be really good for you, right?
And also, he's not part of the prediction game. We didn't have room for more people, so it's not fun to talk about.
I mean, he can take your spot. It's not like you're doing much anyway.
Let's talk about something more important. I got the groups right here, guys. First opinions after group stage is over. What do you think, Erland, about Worlds in general?
That's a very broad question, but
it gives you a lot of chances. You know, you can pick whatever you want.
No, I mean, I think it went kind of as expected. I mean, Splice had the easy group and they went out, and then it was like the toss-up was like Fnatic RNG,
right.
And Fnatic got it. So yeah, it was pretty expected, I think.
Have you been entertained with the games?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it came down to the last game yesterday as well. We watched it at Fabian's place. So yeah. Yeah,
great answer to a big open question.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you think, Andre?
I think it was good. It was actually maybe one of the strongest Worlds that I can remember in terms of how many teams are actually close in level.
Right.
I think that we obviously have Group B, which is kind of the in theory the freest one of whoever got anyone from Group B on quarters would be happy. Luckily for Europe, it was SKT. Splice will tank SKT and allow Fnatic NG2 to shine in a way.
Okay.
And Fnatic managed to get FPX. So I think that the draw was actually generous to Europe. But yeah, I'm actually surprised. I'm actually really happy with how Worlds are going. Having 6 teams that are actually close in level and seeing how the best of 5s will go. I'm really excited to see those best of 5s play out.
Peke, is this the most stacked Worlds playoffs we've ever had?
I was thinking about it before, and I think yes, like pretty much 6 or 7.
I think
six
7
or, 6 or 7 of the groups.
I'm
are,
not considering FPX to be.
Okay.
Yeah, even if you don't consider it, 6 teams that have the potential to beat each other in a best of 5. So I think it's gonna be mega exciting to watch those best of 5s. Like they're gonna be crazy for sure. Maybe even a Splice against SKT. Then maybe they will win first game.
I mean, we saw Misfits.
Yeah, maybe they do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Splice obviously they're right now or in a situation where people are still kind of criticizing them and not praising them for making it out because they had an easier group on paper. So that's been a bit of a hot topic, obviously.
It's actually
during the weekend.
50%, right, of the play-ins teams managed out of groups, right?
Yeah, exactly. So again, playing buffs for some teams at least, good for Splice. Actually, Peggy, now that we have you, because you're the only one who's advanced past group stage. 2 of us never even made Worlds. You made it once back in 2013. You obviously have tried both getting knocked out in groups, but also advancing. Yeah. What feeling do you get as a player once you make it past groups? Is it like just like a huge relief? Everything is fine now. Whatever happens, it's okay. Or are you now just even more hungry and motivated to like go all the way?
You get a bit of both feelings. Like at first you're super relieved about it and also very hyped about the fact that you're gonna go to the next stage. But then you also get really nervous depending on who you're facing, right? Because I have times I remember when we have to face SKT, for example, or Royal in Season 3 and things like this. It's just like you get really nervous because you're playing against a team that is very hyped, that you know is really good, and you're feeling sometimes, especially in the past, like when no one believed Euro could win. It was really hard for your mental to know you had to face them in like a week and practice.
You're basically like, we know we're gonna lose.
It was kind of like that. Like, let's be honest, until last year or something like this, no one really believed that we could beat Koreans, right? For example, so your mental, even though you wanted to believe, you had a team telling you like, this is not gonna go well, you know.
And the moment you make a mistake in the first game and you lose, you're just like, all right. Well,
yeah, that happened pretty much a couple of times for me.
Okay. No longer the case, of course. Now, you back in 2013 made it to Worlds. Do you remember a lot from going on stage, playing in groups, the pressure, anything? Or was it just like the same as playing back home?
That's a really long time ago, but yeah, we at that time we were like really young in our team, and we had really a lot of confidence because we didn't really we kind of made like our own meta and stuff. So we thought, we're just gonna like win against those guys,
And you played SKT.
Yeah, we thought because we were like, I mean, back then we had a lot of confidence. We knew that Fnatic were good, like we scrimmed a lot against Fnatic, and they were mostly actually beating us. But we thought because they have us figured out, like when we scrimmed any other European team, it was like really, really easy.
True.
So we thought, maybe we just win, like.
If you beat the other teams, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so we were just we were playing normal, like with a lot of confidence, but then
And again, this is back in 2013. Nukdog was on a team called Lemon Dogs. They only existed really for a fairly short period of time, and it was obviously with Mithy support as well. Dexter Jungle, Tabs 80 carry, it's an older name, and Zoro Zero, the legend in the top lane who disappeared sadly. Yeah. So back then it was a very exciting lineup, but I do remember, and I still see fans today talking about the first time you guys played SKT, and you gave Faker Izari, even though at the time that was you couldn't do that, you had to ban it. And we got Nukdog Swain against it.
Yeah.
And you were like, this is the kind of pick I can beat him?
No, I mean, I was thinking because we had also like an analyst, and it was like, yeah, against Koreans, it's like really OP to play something they normally don't play against.
Yeah, fair.
So we just tried Swain because also I think you have like one blue, one red, and back then was like Ari and Zed was like really OP. Mm-hmm. So first we wanted to kind of just like not ban mid laners and just like trade, but then when they like realized, and then they still banned the mid, and then we didn't still ban Ari, even though I think they banned Zed and Fizz. Mm-hmm. So we're just
took the match.
Yeah, we could have actually just like banned Ari, but the difference was that he played like Gragas and Oriana, and I kind of didn't.
Yeah, okay.
So it was like we just tried something.
I think you almost solo killed him, from what I remember.
I mean, I don't know. Almost and almost is like it doesn't really like count, you know, like because you kind of know, you know. I actually don't remember that, but didn't feel like I was in control, so I doubt it was like.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Back then in 2013, North America, I believe had one team coming out of groups. Maybe they started out of groups already.
They had a free.
They had a free seed out or something.
Yeah.
Then they got knocked out and didn't achieve anything.
Yeah.
Same thing now for 2019, where NA failed to achieve anything. See, that's something you learn on broadcast. It's called like you segue over. Let's talk about North America. I think most of the people watching this will care a lot about what we have to say about NA. 3 teams. One win 0-6. That was Clutch Gaming.
Yeah.
C9 obviously famously always makes it out. Not this time around. Kind of got destroyed as well in some of the games. And Team Liquid obviously played the very last group here.
Jensen also always makes it out.
And Jensen always makes it out. He was supposed to make it out for Doublelift because Doublelift gave him the title.
But Doublelift never makes it out.
That sadly did not happen. Andre, did you expect all 3 NA teams to lose in groups?
Yes.
All 3 of them?
Yeah. Then I predicted that.
You predicted that as well?
I said it on the first
podcast. Why do you think they all failed?
Because I think they bet.
And
No. I mean, I think that C9 was on a group that they couldn't match both G2 and Griffin.
Yeah.
Clutch Gaming is Clutch Gaming. Honestly, in that case, it's just they don't make it through because they bet. Like it's nothing
compared
much
to the
more
world's
to
competition.
bet.
Yes.
Yeah. And then to Team Liquid, to be honest, I actually think that on the first week that they were playing quite well. They had their chance, but once again, I also think that their group was not easy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, from the whole teams that they could have got as the 4th seed, so the play-in teams, this was the only team that they wouldn't make it out of groups. They would make it if HK Hong Kong Attitude would make it, and they would make it if Splice was in that group as well. So in the Team Liquid, even though a lot of people meme with the fact that it was unlucky, it was actually a bit. Their group was really hard. They fought against they fought well against both Damwon and IG, but it just wasn't enough.
Do you agree as well? Like expecting all 3 NA teams to drop out?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, we played them at Rift Rival, and they were like not like I think even when we were in Rift Rivals, Team Liquid were not like very strong. So I guess they could make it out if they had an easy group, but if they don't, I wouldn't not expect them to make it.
Do you think people now after the game were obviously specifically about the last game they played against IG? We had the Kiana pick for Rookie, and then we got the counter pick LeBlanc for Jensen. Do you think is that an actual like counter pick? Should he win that matchup?
Yeah, he should probably win. But yeah, I mean it's like very both champs are like hyper mobile with gang setup and map play. So I mean, the Kiana definitely did like played over par, you know, or like got done way more than he's supposed to. Yeah. So the question is like it should not. I mean, the Kiana Rookie just carried the whole game, you know.
So taking a skill matchup versus Rookie was risky, or like do you feel like is it fair that people are blaming Jensen in that game for not performing? Like, do you think that's fair, or do you think actually it's the entire team and there's so many other things that was...
No, I mean, that game was definitely like mid, you know. I mean, you can't take LeBlanc against it. It's like, it's good, I think, to play LeBlanc against Kiana. If you hit E, you can't stealth or do anything, basically. So, it's good matchup, I think. And they know it as well, that's why they pick it.
Yeah. And then Rookie just carried the whole game. Yeah. Basically. And TL got knocked out. Peke, any last words on North America in this world specifically?
Well, no, it was. Yeah, I think the groups were very stacked this time compared to others, right? Like every group except B had like 2 teams that were gonna make it, even 3 maybe, right? Like it was really, really hard. Except any group like Cloud9 probably could have made it if they were in Group B, or Team Liquid could have made it if they were in Group B. But yeah, it was a.
But we've seen North America get out of hard groups before, right? Same with Europe. So are we in a situation now where it just feels like the 3 major regions, Europe, Korea, China, have just taken a step further above North America as a region. So that's why when you look at C9 in the Griffin and G2 group, you just kind of say they're not going to make it. When in the past, they have surprised and gotten out of tough groups. Like, do we feel the Chinese, Korean, and European teams have actually just taken a step further up?
I think that that only happened on Worlds where a region, the whole region, is struggling. And that's why I'm assuming that you're mentioning it to the Cloud9 of last year.
Sure.
Where the whole Korean region was struggling. Every single team of Korea was having a bad performance at Worlds, bad read of the meta, bad map plays.
Sure.
So I honestly think that NA could only overcome hard groups when the groups are only hard on paper and the teams were actually not playing at what their name required.
Okay.
For me, NA's level almost never changed from Worlds after Worlds after Worlds, and the major 3 regions go up and down. And this time it happens that both 3 regions, especially I think Korea, are playing well. And if the 3 regions are playing well, America doesn't have a chance.
Is there anything specific we can point out about North America as a region for why they can't keep up with the other 3? I know that the standard ones are the
How long do you
server
want
ping.
the podcast to be?
Well, I mean, we're not here to flame actually. We are trying to engage in more of
that's why
a
I'm
conversation about it. Like, I think we can keep it fairly short so we can also move on to other things. But like, people are saying server size,
Yeah.
ping issues
Yeah.
as the 2 main ones. Do you guys agree also those are the 2 main issues for North
No.
America?
No, I don't think that they are complaining about playing with 60 ping or something like that, right?
Sure.
I mean, I played with that in Spain. Back in the day when the server were not in Amsterdam, I think they were somewhere else.
Yeah.
I had 60 ping in my house playing, right? And a lot of people from Spain had that. A lot of people from other countries in Europe have it.
But you weren't competing with Koreans.
Yeah, but still, I won a world championship.
How many Koreans?
But I did compete with Koreans in season 2. Season 2, we didn't have a gaming house yet.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, it could be a bit of something to blame, but I think it still is not the main issue,
Yeah,
right? Because they had it for the whole since the League of Legends existed, pretty much. That they have not improved.
Do you agree?
And it's gonna be hard, I think, if you play with that ping.
It's definitely not making it easier.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say.
You can almost not play like some champs
Yeah.
because it will feel extremely different on low ping.
Mhm.
Like even here we have like 30 or less, and it feels still different on like on the LAN server.
Yeah.
But one thing, they didn't have the high ping forever, right? Like, wasn't it at some point it was on the West Coast? And then,
Yes, I believe when it got moved
to LA?
like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, so before that they had a pretty good ping, right?
Probably. Well, better than they have now.
Yeah,
I
better than
assume.
they have now. So, just to make it clear that it was not a problem before.
I think ping is obviously an issue. I think that player base is obviously an issue. I think that ping only Riot can solve, and player base it's Team's fault. And to be honest, even though it seems hard, I think NA needs to think about more long term and start tanking some years and playing with some people from solo queue and making sure that the NA player base finds more attractive to become a pro player than become a streamer. Because literally that's what NA is right now. A graveyard of good players from other regions and a bunch of streamers that play solo queue and only cares about posting their highlights on YouTube. That's NA at the moment. So I think that even though ping is one of the issues and player base is one of the issues, for me the main issue is the lack of interest and the lack of support, interest from the players and support from the teams to actually invest on home talent.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts about why NA is struggling other than the ping issue?
Yeah, I mean player base is probably a problem, and I also think the player base. I don't know if they can do anything about it, because I don't think it's like any realistic for them to like tank a few years.
Exactly.
Because then it's like one organization will just not do that, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they'll just like try to win all the time, which is like
Mhm.
what they what they have to do. They can't be like it's the better for the country that we do this, you know. So
You gotta go out and promote, get more people to play the game and so on.
Cloud9 is low-key tanking a bit and winning.
I mean, C9 is one of the teams who has actually had a lot of success bringing in a new young North American player.
But they're the only team doing. But the thing is that when I go there and I see that the bottom 3 teams of NA have imports, what?
That is true. That's always a very interesting thing, just from an organizational standpoint of like.
Because I'm not saying like Liquid should tank and stuff like that, you know. Like
No, but if you are, let's say you are, like in this case, we have a couple of new organizations coming in, right? New orgs without rosters, we have to assume. If you are going to follow the traditional model, you will go in and you will look to Korea, and then you will try and sign some big name in Korea who has played for many years and who's now maybe towards the end of his career. You're going to give him a big salary, and then he's going to play there, and you hope that he will do something great. But he obviously will jump there. You actually once explained to me, Alan, that when you come in as a Korean player to Europe, you start at a level that's higher than where you're actually going to be at when the season kind of begins, because you will adjust to the level that you're playing against. So you end up like kind of changing a little bit in how you're playing. I think Pyrian was the example you gave, where when he started in spring, if you remember, he was actually doing super, super well individually. Yeah. But then the more he played in Europe and the more he kind of moved away from the Korean solo queue and so on, the way he played also kind of changed, and he just became easy to play against. And the same thing happens in North America, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. They practice, and they're not, they're not better because of their genes.
Exactly.
Course, they're better because they like practice in that environment. So usually when they come over, they are a bit higher level than the Europeans, because they practice, in a more competitive environment. But then it like after a while, it more like evens out, where we all practice in the same environment for a while, and then they are like not that special because as I said, it's not the genes that make you better,
Good thing we record this, and then we can always edit some things so that we don't end up going an hour long, basically. Good. Let's move on to awards around group stage. Specifically, who did the best? Can be a player, can be a team, can be a champion, anything you guys want to highlight, and who disappointed you the most. I think this is something, as a fan, when you watch from home, at least I know I do this all the time, I sit there and I think about, okay, what was my expectations coming in to certain players or teams or whatever, and now that I've watched all the groups, am I happy, am I sad, it was always the story with Bjergsen and TSM, you would be like, okay, he's top 10 on the list, and then the team would fail, and you would just kind of be disappointed and sad that, he ended up not being able to make it out. In this case, let's start with the positives. So, Peke, for you, what's the most positive either player or team around this Worlds?
I would say Fnatic, with Reckless beating his fear of playing AD carry.
Yeah, I like that.
Finally doing it and actually doing it really good against like top players. Yeah, I think that was very positive.
Big moment for him as well.
Yeah.
I think we've seen him in defeat, obviously be very emotional. I don't think I've seen him in actually... After he won,
that's true.
Maybe when he won a title in Europe or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, that was a big moment, the handshaking as well. Andre, your most positive thing?
Splice.
Yeah?
Because I thought that they were on a really down trend, and then they go to the second week and they're able to 3-0 and come back. So for me, that's the big positive.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to say G2 now. We don't have to go all Europe. Yeah. It can be anything.
No, I mean, G2 they did like expected, I think. Yeah, I mean, when I watch it, I don't have like that expectation, and like I'm happy or sad for like.
Okay.
But still, yeah, I think the European teams did well, just like Andre and
that's a big positive.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Splice made it out. They did really well the second week, and same for Fnatic. Yeah, I guess that would be it.
I would pick Griffin. Also to step away from the European thing right now. What's wrong picking Griffin?
Nothing.
So, rough first week, problems behind the scenes. I believe the general manager got fired or something. Coach. I think that was the announcement.
Was it the coach or
yeah.
No, he's the I mean, CV Max was the guy who got, obviously, he stepped down before Worlds started.
Yeah.
So that was already a problem. Then there was all the drama, and then there was an announcement coming that they had now removed the guy who was, I think it was a
Who
general
fired
manager
the
or
coach.
something.
Okay.
Who basically were the main reason the coach left. So he got removed, at least in that announcement. And then Griffin walks on stage after a shaky first week, win all the games, take G2 down in the first one and also in the tiebreaker in a
Destroys
very
G2.
convincing way. Like, actually, I sat there as a fan and I was like, yes. Even if it was against G2, I was like, oh, sad for G2. But at the same time, this story is actually awesome. Of like a team that people didn't really believe in at the time because of week one against G2. I obviously believed they would make it out, but not against
They will still lose
G2.
They will still lose.
You're sure they're going to lose now?
quarters.
They look very good.
Yeah, they did. They also did like that in every single split in Korea.
Yeah, well,
and
now-
they reached the best of fives and they got slapped in the ass.
Sure. Which is not a
I think that will
guaranteed to happen here.
Yeah, Martin, as you know from predictions, that's why you're last. Nothing we predict is
We're
guaranteed
not
to
talking
happen.
predictions here.
We're done with predictions.
Anything specific about like meta picks that's exciting, or should we just go to everything that disappointed us?
I don't know,
Think about
nothing.
We got one time Kench or two time.
I mean,
Kench?
it's
people
kind
like
of,
that.
kind of. I
People
guess
like
that it's kind of excited that after the first week, then Garen Yumi disappeared, and that we didn't even ever saw Sonatarik, even though we are seeing a lot of mages. I guess that those two annoying bot lanes are not
Mhm.
appearing, so maybe that's exciting.
Exciting moment.
Cool. So let's move on to worst of worlds, biggest disappointments of worlds, and we cannot all say North America. That is, we're not
No.
allowed to all say North
I was-
America.
To be honest, I wasn't gonna say North America because I'm actually not disappointed. It was kind of expected.
Fair. I mean, that's fair. Again, it could also, if it can be a specific player, anything. Like, let's start with you again, Picker. Like, to you,
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it. Disappointments.
it's always harder.
Yeah,
you know?
it's way harder.
It's funny because actually when you talk about the game, it always easier to like point out mistakes. It feels like than like good things. But then there are certain people who will always say, yeah, but if someone makes a mistake, it's because someone else did something good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a quote from him, actually. I've heard multiple times. If someone fails in a 1v1, the other guy also did something right
Yeah, for sure. That
to force you there.
Go first, Andre. I have to think about it actually.
Anything that disappointed you, Andre?
Something
Yeah,
disappointing.
FPX.
Yeah?
FPX disappointed me.
Despite getting first?
Despite getting first and showing a good record, I think that as the first seed of China, I was expecting more dominance in a group like that than what they showed.
Okay. Do you have anything, Alan?
No, not really. I mean, I think I like what you said. It's like so. That's how I think too. You know. It's
Exactly.
like-
I know, it's literally yours.
yeah, I mean, it's just because you can't just think that if you're gonna like point mistakes, then you gotta like also assume that there's like a perfect way to play
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. And it's like I thought about it a bit, but I mean, for the worlds, you can still have people disappoint, and I think I don't know. I didn't see much disappointment. I thought it was pretty good by everyone.
Yeah, I guess that's right because I'm trying to think about it. And like, disappointment would be for me Royal not beating SKT or Royal losing with a backdoor from SKT.
Yeah.
It's not really disappointing because Royal didn't play bad. It's that SKT played it good, right? But I thought that Royal could have probably win that game, and that made them go out of groups as well. The one against Fnatic was over for Royal as well from the level 1 already.
Do you have anything, Andre? You look like you're just about to jump in. No? I mean, I think RNG, obviously a huge disappointment for them not making it out. Yes, tough group. I think for me, I got a little bit sad when 3 games in a row I got to watch. They picked Israel 3 games in a row. Not saying that necessarily is bad by any means, but then in the last game, when they see the Pike on the other side, they go with Lulu. So it became like very defensive. They realized they couldn't play around bot. Then Fnatic did what Fnatic have done before. And apparently Nemesis actually even said before Worlds on his stream, it's like, yeah, against RNG, just go bot. Just go bot, go bot, go bot. they pick Pyke, so they just force like 3 million fights, and then jungler is there, and they just completely destroy RNG's bot lane. Part of me really wanted to see Uzi and Ming just say like, okay, we'll also play something. We will be the ones to pick the very aggressive bot lane.
You want
we'll be the
to see
ones.
some massive fights there. Some
Yeah, I mean,
blow to blow.
I'm not saying against once he saw the Pyke or anything, but like, I wanted Ming to play the Pyke. I wanted Ming to play Leona. I wanted Ming to play like, and then it was RNG who would go bot lane and like camp the bot lane, because the other lanes would just go even. Like, we've seen that already.
I don't know if the.
That for me was a disappointment to watch them lose that way.
I don't know if the other lanes were even. Actually, another disappointment for you was week 1 Beepo. What?
Yeah, but that's week 1. Now that's the success story is week 2.
But do you think that the success story went through Beep?
No, they went through bot lane obviously. I mean mid and bot.
But actually, Beepo did well in the second week.
I think he did fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a success story now.
Yeah.
I just wanted RNG. I wanted offense versus offense, not offense versus defense. Because it wasn't a 2v2, it was a 3v2 and a 4v2 and a 5v2. So they obviously ended up just kind of collapsing, and good for Reckless with the Xayah pick, and I think Hylissang also gets his Pyke and actually solo carries the game instead of Yuumi.
Yeah. I saw a tweet that showed that he actually had 0 gold from his ulti.
With Pyke?
Interesting.
So
Forced
it's
everything.
like he carried with Pyke without actually like executing the kills. So that's even shows a better performance from him.
Cool. I have one more topic before we go to the Twitter questions. It sounded like I didn't care about what you said. I actually did, but I wanted to just quickly move it along.
Actually, didn't.
I don't actually remember what you said. LCK.
I was talking about your predictions.
Nice. LCK 17-3 record in group stages. 3 teams advancing. All as first seeds.
All 5-1.
Are we back to Korea just being the best?
Though I mean, I think their SKT looks like really good, but no, I don't think so. I think it was pretty close. I think they can still lose against Chinese and European teams.
Okay, so it's not a clear cut. Like there's not a gap as we had in the past.
I mean, the a small one of the groups, of course, they all finish first. But I mean, it's gonna be hard to say before best 5. I think.
Yeah. Okay, Pekka, what do you think? Are you now scared because you actually talked about how in the past
No,
you'd have the feeling of not being able to win?
I think it's a different feeling. Like, I would say yes, SKT looks stronger than the others, but the other teams look like not that strong, not like unbeatable. Even SKT doesn't look unbeatable. They just look a bit better. So I would say that this year I would have hopes if I was playing.
I mean, Fnatic already beat them, so
yeah,
that's
true.
It just sets up the perfect story for G2. In order to win Worlds, they will have to beat the 3 Korean teams.
True. That is true. They did beat Griffin once in groups.
One best of
obviously.
5s.
And then
so
best of 5s now, yeah.
they have to
They
beat
go.
Damwon on a best of 5.
Then SKT,
then
most
SKT.
likely.
Reminds European final.
Then SKT. And then we just hope for a finals between G2 and Griffin.
What do we actually think? Actually, in the next episode, we will be doing playoff talks and playoff predictions, but we are not talking a lot about it now, so that we can do a second episode in this week. It's actually on purpose, but I'm just quickly going to ask, like, finals. Who's going? SKT versus?
G2 and.
G2 will make finals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And second part could be Fnatic, could be Griffin, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want any reason. We save that for next episode.
G2 Griffin.
G2 Griffin is just a teaser.
G2 Fnatic.
G2 Fnatic. Okay. So no bias,
Totally.
obviously, on this one. So we have a bunch of Twitter questions. This is actually something we wanted to do because we want to engage you guys, with you guys as well. I have 5 questions here. It's been a long podcast already, so we might not get through all of them. So I will try and pick some of them. First one, I'll give to you, Pekka. It's from @Bartek350Z. How would you rate Hylissang's performance compared to the other supports at Worlds? Because you watched all the Fnatic games. You're the biggest fan.
I mean,
Always voting against them.
but
Yeah.
yeah. I voted that they will go through, that they will make it out of groups.
Yes, actually I didn't.
Did I? I don't remember.
You
actually.
probably did.
Yeah, let's say I did. I would say, I mean, his Yuumi games, Garen Yuumi, I don't know, don't want to count those games, right? Because I think he played good with Yumi, but there's only so much you can do with Yumi. We are sitting there, ultimating and throwing Qs around. But the second week, I think he played much better, more like the all Healy son that actually try to make plays, try to do more stuff. Trying to think of other teams. Like I would say he played good, but I don't know who to compare him because none of the other teams really had like a support that impressed me.
Okay. What do you think about Hillsang in general, Alan? Like playing against him as a player?
It's absolutely insane.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Is he the best in Europe?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's the best in Europe. I think. Like versus some stuff, but like his result is like still the best. I think Mickey plays like really well too, and usually wins bot. But Hillsang just like he does like extra stuff as well. You know that is really good.
And for you as a mid laner, the fear of him roaming to your lane like 5 times, and like what does he do so well?
No, it's not even about that, but it's more like he seems very he's very like aggressive on the map and he's usually always like early to stuff, and he doesn't play greedy at all, but at the same time he plays like really well, and he plays on the map really well, but Fnatic is smart about it, and his engages are very good.
Perfect. Good. Hillsang definitely one of the top supports, and we're all very happy with his performance. I think that's safe to say. Andre, during games, this is a question from at Finn Mackman. I believe that sounds very German. What stream are the coaches watching during the game? Is it official broadcast? Do you have pro view? Can you listen to comms as well? And like, what do you do as a coach during the game?
But is that about a game like of our team on stage?
You're on stage now. You're at Worlds. You're sitting backstage watching.
So I don't know how much I can talk about it actually, because there were some riot issues this year, where the sound was not coordinated. So that was annoying. But usually we watch the stream that the normal stream, no pro view or anything. Stream. The stream that the fans. We have 2 options. We have a TV up where we can watch the exact same footage that the fans are watching, and we have another one where we can move around the replay, and we are listening to the audio. The way that we watch the streams is obviously different between Friday and Saturday and a best of 5. If we are watching a best of 5, then we want to take a lot of attention to early game jungle pathing. Where are they putting wards? Things that will help us to the next games. If we are watching on Friday, then we are looking into more what our team does and not what the enemy team does, and stuff that we can improve into the next game. And when we are watching on Saturday, it's more relaxed, and we are not looking at something in specific, more in a way kind of enjoying the game and trying to win, because anyway we will rewatch the game before presenting it to the team. So yeah, those are the 3 ways that we watch the game.
Good. So the best of 5, I guess, is more fun, but also a lot harder because you're constantly thinking next game. Players come out with maybe different opinions or whatever, and then one big discussion happening basically. I
mean, more than anything, more than the way that the enemy team played is so we divided in 2 is not only that, but also trends that they end up having, like enemy mid laner always wore the lane because he was playing against roaming champs, so we should be aware of that, and we can use it as a bait. Enemy jungler always based after doing the 3 camps, so we can invade the enemy blue going into next game. At level 1, and this is like one of the most important, there is a dark spot here where we can try to do a level 1 next game.
Cool.
Stuff like that.
Perfect. Take 2 more questions. Okay. For you, Alan, right here. Are mages in the bot lane really strong, or teams just failing at Worlds to execute them? Sorry, let me ask that again. Let me actually read it properly, because it may sound terrible. Are mages bot lane really strong and teams just failing to execute, or were they overhyped coming into Worlds?
No, I mean, mages bot is normally not good, but Syndra bot is pretty good.
Okay.
Though, like, I'm not screaming on dispatch and everything, but for me it looks like ADCs are like better all around, to be fair. I think Yumi Garen is not good, for example. But yeah, I think AD carries are like way more OP, because they just outscale super hard already in mid game. Or like in mid game, you have like power on the AD carry different to the mage. They're both really strong, but I think if they play like smart with ADC, he can actually put like more pressure in mid game. And I think ADC is better. Yeah.
Okay. And teams pick mages because they
I mean,
try
like
to
the
win lane with it, or
bad teams play Heimerdinger, and then maybe some good teams will flex Syndra for like matchups, to win early game. Yeah.
Okay, cool, perfect. Last question is actually about. It's a very long question, so I'll just kind of rephrase it slightly. But it's about the amount of international tournaments. Pekka, you played for many years. You competed back when it was open circuit and you were playing, all kinds of different places, and into then the LEC getting created. Do you feel there's not enough real international tournaments with just MSI and Worlds, or is it the correct amount?
The problem is that the time that there is not that much time, right? Because you have from January until September, you're pretty much busy, and the only free time you have is for MSI and for Worlds. So it's kind of hard to feed more time for teams to play. But it would definitely be nicer to have something more besides Worlds, because MSI is only one team from every region, right? Yes. You don't get the chance, if you don't win, you don't get the chance to even go and play. And I feel that's a bit of a pity that only 3 teams can participate in Worlds and only one team can go to MSI, because a lot of the other teams miss out on the chance of improving, because I feel like it's also a chance to improve as a player when you get to play against other regions, when you get to practice more. So it would be nice maybe there was something for more teams to join. So maybe an extra tournament for everyone else that is not Reef Rivals,
Right, okay. What do you think as a player, Alan?
I think it would be nice to switch, but you obviously have to switch the whole format around.
Right.
Because the regular season is just so time consuming. But it will of course be more fun for the players because we've been doing this for so long, to do like more of a circuit kind of thing like most of the other esports are doing. I think that would be more fun, but it's probably hard for Riot to find some way to make it really well. But it would be very fun, mostly because it would be like a change as well.
It's a huge discussion, obviously, because there's so many things also from a business perspective and so on. One thing I've always kind of like Casper Cup in a way, where it was placed typically when most teams had locked in their new rosters. Then they played a tournament that had, like, it was just a tournament, didn't have any huge implications or anything. I've always kind of liked like this kind of preseason tournament, but obviously the quality will not be very high. But it was one of the things we had with the old IEM. I believe there was one IEM like fairly late, so you could test like a new roster in it. If there was, let's say, start of the new year, there was like a 3-4 day tournament, and then you would come back home and you would have 2 weeks before LEC started. If there was something like this, I'm not sure if there's any value in it, but then you have your new rosters or the same one. It could be international. I think there would be a lot of excitement for it, and I think that would be one place to put it, because you do have this long period actually. It's only if you made it far to Worlds you really don't want to have to obviously prepare. But like in our case, starting boot camping in early December, getting to play a tournament between that and LEC starting, I don't think is a bad thing.
Yeah, it would be very good, I think.
So take notes, Riot. Andre, do you agree? Do we need more tournaments?
I mean, I can't make I don't have an opinion until I actually experienced it. So, but I think it would be cool to try it. Yeah.
Also, if there were more teams competing in MSI or whatever, I know it's a different tournament. Then we would actually have qualified as a second seed. We could have gone and played. So in some cases, right, you should increase the amount of teams at MSI just to fit in Origin, if you do well there. But I think that basically sums up actually the questions right now that we had. We had one more question, which was about just kind of the year for Origin and so on. But I feel like now we've gone with the Worlds thing and all the discussions, and we've gone very, very long. So we will save that for another time. We will be doing this in the off season as well, and then we have plenty of time to talk about 2019 and 2020. But any last thoughts after groups? Or are we just excited for playoffs now?
Just excited for playoffs.
Boom, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Wrap it up there. Thank you for watching. We will be again sending out tweets regarding questions for next episode, which will be recorded on Thursday this week. and come out. So send us questions. It's going to be all about playoffs. It's going to be all about predictions. Obviously, we don't want to talk about Andre being number 1 in the game right now.
Of course.
Are you number 1?
Of course.
Okay, whatever. See you next time.
You're number last. Number 5.
That part we will cut.
Okay.